Lights, camera, action. Do you wonder how films are produced and what really goes on behind the scenes? Well, stand by. Filmmakers Kevin Mumphrey, Victoria V.A. Jones, and Carson Hype Ferguson, local filmmakers talking about the world of film, right here on F It, We Will Fix It in Post podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever you're listening, I'm glad for you doing so. This is Kevin Mumphrey, and this is We Will Fix It in Post. Today, I also have my co-host with me, Victoria V.A. Jones.
What's going on?
And Carson Hype Ferguson.
What up?
Today, we're talking to independent filmmaker Caleb Watson. How are you?
I am well. Thanks for having me.
I am glad that I got your name right. I've messed up quite a few already today.
So. Well, you call me independent filmmaker, which I feel like is a gross exaggeration of my skills.
We'll find out. We're going to find that out. So what got you in the world of filmmaking?
This is a long story, but I'm glad we have long form to it. So I've always been into movies. They've always been an escape. So I come from a little bit of a checkered background as a kid. My dad's in prison currently for operating a meth lab and aggravated child abuse. Yeah. That's where we're going now.
Okay.
All right.
And mom was drag addict for a long time. She's been clean for a while. But movies were always a thing that I'd watch them over and over and over again. I had a VHS tape that had Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, Weekend at Bernie's, The Sound of Music, and Silence of the Lambs. And I watched it on repeat as a kid. And usually I never made it to Silence of the Lambs, but I did watch it more times than a kid should. But that's why I always enjoyed the, like, you can do anything in a movie. It's whatever you want it to be, and so that's kind of what always drew me to the medium, I guess.
I was watching hood pornos at 10, so I'm not judging you at all.
Hood pornos.
I ain't gonna lie,
What?
man.
Booty butt cheeks 36.
Oh my god!
Look, I ain't gonna lie. I went to the barbershop a couple times, and
they had pornos on at the barbershop.
like the windows were all blacked out, and I was like looking around, and I was like,
Oh, they were making pornos at the barbershop.
no, they weren't making them. They weren't making them, but
So funny you should mention that.
they were in there. They were diversifying their portfolio, to
Diversify their portfolio.
yeah.
I like this. Yes. Continue.
But there was a group of dudes just huddled around. They were all quiet because they had just turned the deal off. And when I got my hair cut, everybody's all quiet and waiting for me to looking at me. I'm like, why is everybody looking at me? And then as soon as I left, I closed the door behind me. And then the dudes, you can see they went back to turning it on, and I opened the door real quick, and then they're like, turn it off, and I look back, and I'm like, all right. And then I closed it and then left, and I was like, oh man.
Oh my god!
So here's my story.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm leaving.
We're talking about porno stories now. Y'all can.
But
have that.
it's not.
Go
No.
ahead.
It's a diversifying portfolio story.
Okay.
So
Go right
I'm leaving
ahead.
college, and one of these guys that I would hang with, he was like, because I was talking about getting my hair cut. He was like, yeah, I got a friend who does it, who stays down the street. I'm like, cool, I'll go there. So we go to his house. He has a whole setup. And like, hey, no, the barbershop tomorrow, the production studio today. It's like, oh, okay. So I'll just get my hair cut somewhere else.
You're not moonlighting as somebody who's cutting hair.
Yeah, no, actually, that would have been a cool situation to get my hair cut, though. Now that I think about it.
In the middle of a porn production.
Yep. Absolutely.
You could have been part of
I mean, I'm gonna need some
story.
space because I don't want,
It's a good backstory.
I don't want that backstory on me.
So you saying you would have got your hair cut and while they over there getting
Absolutely.
It on? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, how about the Bulls?
About them bulls.
How about them Cowboys?
I would have questioned the barber skills, because typically you don't have to add anything if you're good enough. Whatever you do.
But hey, if you can do a fade while someone's getting faded, you the man.
Well, I don't want somebody to bump me while he's
Right. See, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then mess something up. Man, I didn't mean to cut that part.
See, no, I need some space. It needs to be in the other room. And then I'm going to check my hair.
It's all going to be in the same room.
I need a little bit of space. I don't want the production to fly on me in any way, shape, or form.
Anyways, Caleb.
Yes, BA.
Let's get back to you.
Oh man,
I want to know. Oh my God!
she lost her train of thought
These people,
Sorry.
because
Do
she
you-
she was thinking about
do you
production.
see what I have to deal with?
She was thinking about production.
Yeah,
That's
if
what
you had
it
a train
was.
of thought, they just blew that train. to
Oh
hell.
my goodness!
With
So
dynamite.
you talking about those films that you used to watch when you were younger? Out of those three, was it three?
Right, yeah, well, 3 or 4, yeah.
What was your favorite one?
Probably The Sound of Music. Like I know every word to every song in that stupid movie.
All I remember.
So do you
is-
like musicals?
Yeah. Oh, I really like my big, like, if I could do one thing, I would love to do.
You want to do a movie
music,
musical?
yeah.
We got the same thing in common, my man.
Oh really?
Yeah, I love my favorite movie is Chicago. My favorite movie of all time is Chicago.
That's one of the first actual musicals I ever went and saw, like, on stage anywhere. That was Chicago, and it's one of the things that, of course, we grew up watching.
Right,
but,
right.
But yes, if I could do one thing, like, I kind of have a halfway written story idea for one.
Yeah.
About a bearded lady at a circus, and I think it could be. But anyway, that's my.
Hey, I believe it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I just want somebody to write it and for me to direct it. I don't want to write it. I just want to direct it. So if I can get somebody to write a musical for me, a movie musical, it's over with. I'll direct it.
I need somebody who can write some music, because right now it's all like covers of songs. 'Cause
Yeah.
I can't write. I don't play an instrument. So I need someone who can actually write some original music, because right now it's all like, oh, you know what? Britney Spears Circus is a perfect thing for a thing at the circus. You know,
And you don't want to have to deal with them legal issues.
no,
Not so. Like, as a kid, you always wanted to. Like, you always kind of pictured working in film.
Well, I didn't even know it was an option. So somebody tell everybody that if I could go back and punch my high school guidance counselor in the face, I would. Pull it closer.
Yes, a little bit.
Because she always acted like, and I was good at math and science things, but I did. My school had a television.
Production.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and that was really good. And everybody, me and the guy I did it with, everybody wanted to see more of our stuff. You know, it kind of rotated, but it was like, we want to see you and Clark. And when it came time to, you know, where do you want to go to school? What do you want to go to school? Nobody ever mentioned that was an option.
Right.
Yeah.
So I went for chemical engineering to start with, and
Right.
then just dropped out after a year of college. Like, this is just not.
Not your thing.
It's not my thing. I didn't go to film school till 2012. I finished 2013. Because I didn't know it was. I didn't know you could make money, or people would pay you money to do things like this.
A lot of people didn't know that, like especially back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I was in high school. If I knew that in high school, I would have participated more in the stuff that they were doing in high
Absolutely.
school. But
And I didn't even
know
think it
about
was
that.
like a straight up film school. I thought you had to go to a university
Right.
to do that and be way more in debt.
Yeah. So I was doing construction. So I helped start a construction company with a relative of mine up here, and a bigger company bought our company, and I hated it. Oh, it was the worst thing in the world. Because everybody thinks that their little roof leak is the biggest thing in the world. Like, I literally have a house that had a tree fall through it. Like, your 3 shingles missing is not the most important thing I'm going to deal with today. But everybody thinks that theirs is the worst. And so I took essentially my money from the buyout and went to film school, which I guess Googling is how I found out about it. I don't remember exactly how, but I went to an open house, and if I could, even now, if I could recommend, I made some contacts, but I would 100% recommend skipping that that step. Because there was the first music video I ever worked on, the guy was actually at NFI, and he said, "What are you going to do here?" And he asked me a bunch of questions. He goes, "I tell you what, how about you give me half the money you were going to spend, and you come work for me, and I'll just pay you with that money that you gave me." And looking back, that would have been the best thing
Right.
in the world. You get a lot more hands-on experience. And I mean, I made contacts. Like, a lot of the work I do now is from contacts I made.
Yeah.
But as far as actual skills and learning how to do things,
You got to do it from, nitty gritty. You got to get your hands
and,
dirty.
and it's all online now. I mean, you can Google every creative cow and all that stuff. I mean, you can find anything you want to online.
Exactly.
So what was the so how long were you at the institute?
It was a 9-month program. And I really hate to dog them out. It was garbage. I was trying to avoid.
I hate to dog him out.
I really like.
But he unleashed on it.
I just,
So Please elaborate.
I mean, it was just not very organized. A lot of teachers weren't really teachers. They didn't. Not that, sometimes they didn't know what they were talking about, but sometimes they just weren't good teachers.
So did they pull like YouTube videos up and show them to you, and like this is what you're supposed to do?
100%. One of the guys who was supposed to be teaching us editing would literally leave the room to go Google something, come back and be like, and then show us how to do it. Like, it's literally what was going on. And then the guy who before him was supposed to teach us the basics of editing, but it had a big editing suite and with all the monitors and everything, and he would work on a project and just work on it. Expect us to glean whatever the hell it was he was doing without talking to us. And then one of the script writing, who I'm still good friends with, he'd pull me. So they had a thing where you would send your kind of final project, your big narrative, to a Hollywood reader or writer. And that's a thing that actually happened. But we had about 4 or 5 days to write a script and get that ready. And I remember talking to the teacher at the time, and said, Scott, this is not ready. And he said, I know, I don't know. He goes, but I need you to do this or she's not going to pay me.
Oh my God.
So,
oh my God.
But the thing is, but I'm working with a guy now. I worked with him a few jobs. His name's Josh, and he was younger. He went to a few years ago. And, man, I feel like an asshole doing this. But he says the same thing, like all the same, like he and I share the same stories, and we're 5 or 6 years apart, and I hate it. But the whole thing is just say, dude, make some contacts, but you can learn it on site or
I mean, you can. Yeah. You can. I have a cousin who never went to film school, and he has done buku of music videos, and he is very cold at it, and he did not go to school for it.
Right.
So it's tit for tat. You know what I'm saying? It's if you want to go do it, you can, but at the same time, if you want to learn it, you can just learn it.
Well, I mean, I'm seeing now that it's actually becoming more in vogue to be an autodidact, or to get courses and just read and do this, watch videos and culmination or some of the online stuff.
Oh yeah, you
can buy like a course for I don't know, like anywhere from $900 to $1,000, like maybe $1,200.
And not even that. I learned how to edit when I got done with school. I did not learn how to edit in school, and I learned how to edit through YouTube.
Yep,
that's how I learned how to edit.
And there's no shortage of anybody out there wanting to show you how to do it. That's a good thing about this industry is that there's a million people that want to. Hey, look at what I can do that's really cool. Whether it's Photoshop, anything involved in this. There's somebody out there who's doing it, and you can find out how to do it from them. Even I said for free, and then there's the more paid stuff. But the editing was the same way. We had our editing thing was obviously a mess. So somebody who had an idea showed me, and then my friend who's actually that's what she likes to do is she's a full-time editor. I showed her how to do it, and so we kind of taught ourselves how to make these things work.
I wish I had like a partner though that was like kind of along the same lines as me, that was at the same speed that I could bump ideas when I first started.
Oh yeah,
because I think that would have sped up a lot of the process. Because you'd be able to see where you are and be able to kind of challenge each other.
Yeah,
I've got a good friend now, and he's his name's Andrew Jensen, and Jensen Entertainment. If anybody wants anything, he's the best that I know. And he's a little younger than me, but he's been doing it for forever, and he's self-made, same way. He went to Kent State, but I don't know if he went for production or, well, I don't think he did. But he can do anything. I mean, from little small shoots to big full stage productions, all that stuff. And he's a self-made man. And anything I don't know, he's my resource. He's the guy I go to bounce stuff off of.
So are you seeing more people go more of that self-made route?
I guess it depends. I guess what they're wanting to do. Because I have a big corporate client. And this last year, they said, how come you're never going to, why don't you ever come work for us? I'm like, well, because I don't have a communications degree or anything. You literally wouldn't hire me. So there are things like that. But then, like a lady I work with in that company, she knows it's beneficial because she worked in television. So she has an idea about production. But a lot of people who don't. So they need people like me who know production, but not necessarily the marketing side of it to fill that gap of lack of knowledge or whatever. And so I guess it really depends on which route you're trying to go. Where like in in the field, of course, like anything at CMT, like none of the, as far as I'm aware, none of the grips or gaffers or camera guys went to have 4-year degrees. They're camera ops or whatever. But all the production people do. Erin Mercer is a good friend of mine who works over that. Yeah, sure, she has a communications degree and all that stuff. But like, you know, what is the above the line, below the line guys don't. So it's again, it just, I guess, depends on where you're trying to go with it.
So for somebody who wants to completely not do that and try to find context to get in, let's say, because I guess the starting position would be PA.
Right.
So how would you suggest somebody getting into that?
So a lot of Facebook groups are always looking for stuff. And there's, of course, seasons. Well, there were seasons until COVID happened. But there would be the more Bonnaroo and the CMAs and everything. And so there's no shortage of work at that specific time. I mean, you find somebody who knows, you know, find a Facebook group and they are begging for people to come help out because they're just busy. Well, everybody's busy. There's a million shows and there's everything happening. And so you get in there and just work your balls off. The very, very first thing was a non-paid gig for a documentary that was out of town. And I wasn't supposed to get paid. And I begged him. I was like, please, just let me help you. This is the first thing I'll do. I said, I did this. I'll work. I'll do whatever you need me to. And I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to wrap a cord. I had to set up a C-stand. I didn't know anything. And I worked my way into pay. They paid me after 3 days when it was over with.
That's what's up.
And it wasn't supposed to be. And then they came back down 2 or 3 times, and they called me up every time. And so I mean, if you get in there and you show yourself, people want somebody who's going to try. And then you communicate because you'll talk to people and it's like, I would like to do this, and you watch the camera people, and you might just slip you in, and they'll try to work you into where you want to go.
Yeah,
every time I look at an XLR cable, I think about the first time I try to roll one up. And this dude,
slap that out of your hand.
I grabbed it and then I just start going over my shoulder, under my elbow. And this dude was like, "What the are you doing?"
Just jumping out of the shadows.
No. And I'm just like looking at him. I'm like, "What did I do?" I have no clue. I'm rolling up this cable. He's like, "You don't do that. You're gonna break the wires." And I'm pretty sure you could handle that a little bit better.
I've seen someone, and I was an extra on the set, and they did the same thing you did, and like 3 people ran and bum rushed.
it happens, man.
It's so serious.
I didn't realize. Literally,
I am it was almost like gang members just attacking this dude.
Literally, the first thing I learned when I in college when we were working that truck was how to tie, rope something correctly. We didn't touch no cameras, we didn't touch no boards, nothing. He brought cables out and he said, "All right, I'm gonna teach y'all how to do over and under right here, right now. This is the first thing that y'all are gonna learn before y'all even touch this truck."
You probably at the time didn't think like, why do I need to know this? But now, when I go out, like, oh, that is some very important information.
Look,
right.
I've got stingers in my truck right now that are wrapped that way. Like every cord, my uncle has a boat, and I was wrapping up a rope for the inner tube, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm doing over under. Why? He goes, "Because then you can just throw it out. I threw it out in the water." And they're like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, it's a thing. It makes sense. Like it's
amazing. That's the film world's wax on, wax off.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Because if you don't wax it right, boy, they on your ass.
Yeah, for real.
Because I'm to this day, I'm so if I see some wire, like, I'll just let y'all roll that up.
My wife still doesn't. I tried to show her 16 times, and as far as and now I think she just even quit paying attention.
Like, are you doing it fast?
No, I mean, well, because I guess I try to, the over and do it, and then you twist, and I don't think so. I've tried to. She just has no interest anymore.
I think you just do it too fast. Because when they were showing me, they're so used to doing it.
Just muscle memory.
Yeah, and I'm like, you did something when it went up.
You just twist it.
No, but the cable wants to go that way. Yeah. It wants to do it, especially if it's older.
I've heard someone say that too. But I'm like, y'all didn't show me how to get it that way though.
You be like, you just fighting with it, just twisting it.
Yeah, because
Just breaking it more.
and people are just looking at no.
Just, you know what? You're better. Just lay it down.
For the audience, you may have to go to YouTube to watch how to properly roll up a cable.
For the audio visual portion.
Yes.
Honestly, I was strong
and
to
under.
suggest that.
Just type in over and under, and it's gonna pop up.
But like, oh,
Change your life.
and it can make you some money, and it could damn sure lose you some money.
Oh yeah. Get him off my set.
I thought they were going to do like Uncle Phil did Jeff. I thought they were going to launch him off the set.
Oh man.
So now I'm like, how much do these cords cost?
Well, it depends on how good a one you want to get.
Yeah.
Right. I understand it. I really do.
I bet you do.
If somebody was on my set and I saw them fucking it up, it'll be over with.
In a way, like, you yell at them, stop, and then you explain the situation calmly, not, hey, you idiot.
Well, aside from just the upkeep of the item, you always get otherwise you get the damn knot in it, and so then you got to deal with that bullshit. And like that's even though like you drop it and then just half of it falls down.
Right.
You know, like you're holding on to one string and the rest of it's in a glob. Right. Like, how does this? It was in a loop before. How is it a ball now?
Oh man.
So for some, oh no, we already asked that. So at what point did you kind of realize you started kind of building a rapport with people? They start bringing you back.
I guess it was that. So the movie that I worked on was called Heartworn Highways Revisited, and it was an old Heartworn Highways, and it was about kind of the troubadours of music back in the of like Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard and those. And so it's kind of like the new one was the modern version of that, and they visit some of the old guys too. And that was probably the one where I realized that your effort really made the difference. But it's always kind of like my wife and I. She's not necessarily college. Well, she's being partially college educated as well. I remember telling her because one of the first jobs she had outside of working for her family was they own a cleaning business. Was at Clayton Homes, and she was a bilingual service customer representative. She speaks Spanish, and she was working. They were doing layoffs. This was around 2008 when we got married.
Oh yeah.
So they're starting to do it. And I remember I told her to just make yourself too valuable. If you do more than you're working, and then they can't afford to lay you off. Even if you're a low man on the totem pole, Whitney does 3 times as much work as she's supposed to. He can't afford it. We can't.
Right.
And I kind of but I put that in practice for and for myself, and it made it because people notice, and and not complaining goes a long way because again those days are long shitty hot days in the middle of June when it's I did a CMT. Still do some PA stuff for CMT just to keep things up, and times are slow. But where I literally walked 22 miles in 2 days, walking to the office and back. I drove 21 miles from home to the set, so I walked more than I drove back and forth to the set. But they want to because if you have a good attitude, man, it makes everybody's job a whole lot easier.
Right.
We don't have to deal with you. When they have to tell you something, you go, and when we don't get that out of you, it makes them a lot happier. Like, yep, sure, no, I'll take care of it. I'll go up to CMT, the office, for the 15th time today. No problem.
And it's like you're already gonna have you're never gonna have a perfect day on set.
No.
So if you ain't gonna have any unnecessary problems, the less unnecessary issues, the better.
Right.
I ain't got time for your attitude right now.
Nope.
Yeah. Because you already got so much other stuff to deal with, and the last thing you want is somebody else to put on top of those list of things, because now I got an attitude to deal with, and you already have all the personalities to deal with, and they're going to react to this person's outward attitude too. So,
and production already has problems. I mean, there's location problems. Like that day specifically, of course everybody went through stuff on the roof. The service elevator was broken, so we and the entire crew had to bring the lights, the stage, everything that was built, carried up 3 flights of stairs at Florida Georgia Linehouse and build it on top of the thing. And finally, somebody showed up with a lift. Like somebody asked, somebody was doing construction, like down the road, can we borrow your lift? And they drove it down there. And so like they did the lights because it wasn't just a regular scissor. There's not anything you could put big pieces on.
Yeah.
But they could put some of the lights. I mean, it was something. It's like they already got enough stuff to deal with without you dragging ass and complaining.
Right.
So like that. I mean, that just good attitude, man. Will carry you.
Right.
So for people who are PAs and they kind of looking, they just make a good impression and everything. Just I guess basically, what would you consider good PA etiquette?
Always be available. Like, don't hover. Like, they don't want you sitting around the office because it makes it look like you're doing anything.
Yeah.
So find somewhere where you can be stationary and out of the way. But when they hit that walkie, hey, we're looking for somebody to do something. You be first on it. And be ready to go. And again, that's the thing. Anything they ask you to do, if you don't know God, for the love of God, ask questions. Like the core thing. Don't just pick up a core and start rapping if you don't know what you're doing. like ask a question, because they'll appreciate that too. And good rule of thumb I did even in construction. Always tell the guys, just treat me like I don't know anything, because that way we'll get along, and that way nobody messes anything up, and we can move right along. That's being responsive and the good attitude.
So what made you go from going to PA, suddenly wanting to start a company for yourself?
It was always kind of the idea. A guy, kind of a mentor of mine, although we don't mentor very much anymore. He was one of the few good ones at NFI, his name's Kelly Baker. I remember one time he stopped me, he did audio, and he stopped me and he said that we're doing an exercise. He said, you're going to want to do stuff on your own. And he goes, so you need to know this and this. And that's just kind of thing that he recognized about me that I wasn't really thinking about. And that kind of like planted that seed of what I could do. And then, again, one of the guy I knew, he worked for my big corporate client and got me in there. And now he doesn't work there anymore, and I still work with him. He's moved on with it, and so that was kind of like the idea of getting in that idea and seeing what you can do, and like making your own hours, like being your own boss. I said,
of course. Who doesn't love that, man?
Because there's the whole thing of, am I going to have a paycheck this week, but I also don't have to worry about
clock in somewhere on somebody else's time.
Yep.
Oh man, I feel you on that.
Supervisor tripping.
Yeah, or somebody getting promoted over me, or is this inter-office politics? Like, you don't have to deal with it.
You are the politics.
Yeah, I am.
You
the boss.
are the promotion. I make myself more of the boss today.
I've got an office teacher that you may watch at the office, and it says assistant to the regional manager, and so I took a selfie with it, and I said, just got a promotion day, just being funny. And my grandmother, my grandmother goes, oh, that's great. I thought you worked for yourself. I'm like, I do, grandmother. This is
that flew by your head. Okay, yeah. You didn't watch that. I get it.
That's good.
So, like once you realized that you were gonna do this for yourself, did you did you already have camp equipment already invested?
So a thing when I went to NFI is one of the things they wanted to do is give you a laptop, MacBook Pro or something like that. And I said, well, I've already got a brand new laptop. Can I just keep this and keep the $2,000 or however much it would be for the computer out of it? And they said, sure. So I took that and bought me 5D Mark II, which I actually just had until about 3 months ago. Because it was a fantastic stills camera. Of course, it was the one that kind of paved the way for the DSLR idea of shooting video. And so I had that, but I didn't have any lenses. And so it's one of those things where you pinch pennies, you save things, and you can buy one lens. And a neighbor of mine, she wanted to get into things, and she said, what kind of lens should I get? I was like, oh, the most popular lens on the planet is 24-70. And then she didn't like it and actually ended up buying hers back from her. But that's kind of stuff I would get. So it's how much value can I get out of this item? Right. Because you can't afford everything.
Yeah.
Everything
that's for sure.
Yeah. And so you beg, borrow, and steal, and call in favors, and then you just penny and get little cheap, dinky, little stick light, whatever you can afford lights, just anything until you get somewhere where you can get it. Yeah. Do you build a kit that you like and can actually afford real things?
And I got to thank you for that camera, man. I've used that thing so much.
Dude, the C100, that was my dream camera for forever. I mean, it's such a good universal documentary stuff. I mean, it's a fantastic camera.
So just because y'all don't know, Caleb is the reason why I got that camera. Like his neighbor was selling the camera.
Wait, hold on.
Which
camera?
The C100.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that information.
Yeah. Look. Y'all put me on the spot over here. I'm just.
But I'm saying, with
But
like
you talking like you've only had one camera
right?
ever. Like,
I'm saying like which camera?
I said that one camera.
Yeah, that's the one I had.
That's the one camera.
You see how we said it at the same time because we were confused.
I'm like, come on.
But I mean that too, and then you go through and just you scour Facebook Marketplace or eBay and like so I've got a 7200 L lens, which is at the time was a $2,000 lens. I got it for $900 because I found somebody who was selling it. They said it was the image stabilization was an issue, and again, even if that's the case, how much can it be?
Right, to fix it.
Yeah, and so I got and I've never had an issue out of it, not one. I feel like it was whatever it was. The camera might not have been communicating with it correct, whatever. I got it for you got to be on the hunt.
Right.
so, camera question. You think it's more important to invest on the camera or on the lenses?
Oh, always I've lenses and stuff I have now, and I've changed. Well,
And that's one of the things that I try my best to explain to people. It is not the camera, it's the lens. And people are like, oh, I gotta get this camera.
And that's
like,
what I
well,
hear
what
from a
kind
lot
of
of people
lenses?
when they start.
What kind of lens? And my question is, well, what kind of lenses do you have?
Well, it's that whole like if X, then Y. Right. When I have X, then I will be Y. And that's why it's easier when you start. I'm more of a gearhead, so I kind of lean that way anyway. That's the reason why my co-hosts were talking about mini cameras. I like
we just had to clarify some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
When you have a closet, you gotta let me know specifically what's in the closet.
you know what I'm saying?
Skeletons.
but the thing with cameras is that if you get like again my 5D, that's so. One of my crowning achievements, I guess, was this documentary called Straight Up Tennessee Whiskey. We went to the Nashville Film Festival with it. We won some, a Tennessee Spirit Award and won a bunch of awards here and there. I won a Best Cinematography and Editing Award from that thing, and all over the place. And but somebody came up to us after and goes, "Did you shoot that on a red?" No, I shot it on my 5D.
Now that's a compliment right there.
With the nifty 50 and the little 1.8 plastic $50 lens. Mostly with that, like we had some other, like I remember the guy we were talking about earlier who tried to have me come work for him, the drug dealer. It was he got some other stuff later, but that was mostly on that thing, and it taught me a whole lot about what I can do with my camera, what I can't do, and how things look, and so you learn a lot by struggling with the shitty stuff that you have,
right,
and knowing what you really need to. So when you get something that helps you take it to the next level, that's what it does. It's not just you're not in the race car when you just got your license,
right?
Yeah, the perspective, like and the painter is always more important than the brush.
Absolutely,
yeah. We never think about that because we're always looking outward for all these other inspirations and all that because our tastes start up here, but we start down here.
But our budget is
a
different conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're a trust fund baby.
I always I knew a guy who he had a sugar mama, and I'm like, I want that life so bad.
Hey,
I'm so glad you said it.
That is a real thing, man. I literally had some. I know this is off subject, but you said it. I had somebody in my DM the other day saying that he was looking for sugar babies.
Sugaring.
And it's like he really goes, well, I mean, would it be that bad? I'm like
and I thought about it. I am not gonna lie, and of course he put a picture up that was very, very good looking.
Flattering you.
Very.
But you don't know if that's really him, though.
I'm getting to that point. Okay.
You don't get catfish, you got goldfish.
I'm getting to that point.
Bingo.
So he went through this whole list, and he was like, "Yeah, I've been just adding females who look attractive, and I was just wondering if you know what I'm saying. I'm looking for sugar babies, but I don't want the sugar. I just want the time." And I respond back with, "Nah, I'm good." He was like, "Well, I really think you're attractive and blah blah blah," and I said, "Nah, I'm good." And then I thought about it. I said, "Oh shit, I said the wrong thing." So then I said, "So
Is the opportunity still available?
No,
Yeah,
I didn't
it's like-
say
it's like- I think
that. I
it's-
didn't
hey,
say
just following
that.
up on this.
I said,
How much sugar are we talking?
I didn't even know. I said, so let me see the real you if you want this to go through. And he was like, well, you said you weren't interested, so you don't have to ask me that question, okay? I was
man.
like, oh man.
Foot.
I was like, but I was real close. I was like, that's all you
Yeah,
want is
man.
conversation.
And every time I think about that, that one show which I will not mention that was on a major 3-letter network. They did like a special or whatever with the sugar babies and sugar daddies, and they did like interviews. With
People
several
know
of them.
what you're talking about.
Anyway. So check.
I'm completely clueless, Carson.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of just question marks on the top of my head right now.
So like they're interviewing and they interviewed the guy. He's like, hey, if there was no sugar, substitute that word, would you still be interested? And he's like, God no. And then they interview her or cut the interviews together, and she's like, of course there would.
Of course she would. Goes, well, yeah, because somebody's paying you just to hang out.
Right.
You want to come have fancy dinners and fly to Paris? No, I don't want to do that at all. He goes, what an asshole!
I gotta get up to do that.
Hey, you heard what this asshole just did to me? He offered to buy me a Ferrari.
What?
You
And
see
pay-
all these rings? He
and
bought
pay-
me all these rings. What a dick!
Exactly.
You got more rings than Tom Brady and didn't even have to throw anything.
Then he goes, what
You
gotta
see
do?
this
He goes,
condo?
Nothing.
Oh man,
Such an ass.
All
but
paid for.
all paid for.
for the
We
whole
just
year.
had drinks. That's all he wanted to do was have drinks.
And I just had to sit there and listen to him tell stories about his childhood.
I ain't gonna lie. I felt funny accepting drinks from a dude like a long time ago. I'm like, should I talk to this dude? I mean,
Is there a transaction that's supposed to happen?
I mean, he bought me around, and then the girls I was with, he bought them drinks too because they were with me, and then they left.
So you don't
and
know
they
if
left me
it's-
by myself. I'm like, that's so rude.
Well, we can still talk if you want to. I'm still thirsty.
No, that was your hint. When they left, that was your hint to leave with them.
No. Look, they come up to the bar. He's like, "Are you with them?" I was like, "Yeah. I'm with them." And they're like, "Oh, you're gonna buy our drinks?" That's all. They just went there, and I'm like, wow, that was pretty forward. And then
Women do that.
they grabbed the drinks and then rolled out. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
like,
you're supposed to do.
You were supposed to roll out with them.
But
I'm
Right.
I'm like, man, like, I mean, shouldn't you just like, see if the dude's okay?
No.
I mean, some people just want to talk.
Say what?
But
Oh,
the
no.
thing-
He was okay enough to buy drinks.
But the thing about thing about gay men is they're pretty forward, and they just are like, as a person who gets hit on by a significant amount of, I am a top. They're pretty. Well, so my friend, we go to Pride with her every year, stuff like that, and so usually her and my wife are drinking and partying and dancing, whatever, and so I'll be the server one so I can drive us home. And so I'm standing there, usually it's middle of June. Again, it's me and the so I'm standing looking very majestic in a fan with my beard blowing. And so, of course, I'm just putting out all the vibes of somebody needs to come up and hit on me. And dudes ain't shy. Dudes ain't shy because they're trying to get theirs. And they're shooting their shot with the hottest thing in the fan at the moment.
Right. And you stayed. Like I said, you should have
How
walked
the
out.
hell did we get here?
That's
You
exactly what
should've
you were
walked
asking for.
out.
Carl. I feel like you were
I don't know.
you were primed for it.
I was
You
like,
were primed
no,
for it.
like it's one of those value things, man. Like it's like yo, man. Like if I can't just at least have like a 5-minute conversation, then I don't need to accept a drink. Because I'm like,
Okay.
I don't know what the dude was.
Right.
I was like, I don't know. He looked kind of down. So like, part of me was like,
You wanted to try to cheer him up a little bit?
nah.
Like, stay
I was
there and
like,
talk to him?
You just needed a buddy.
I was like, you okay, man? Just don't go toward the light. Don't do that.
Maybe you were the light.
Somebody cares about you, sir. Somebody cares about you. Not me, but somebody.
Not me at all.
Let me finish this drink and I'm leaving. But yeah, somebody likes you.
Like it'll
call your
be
mama,
alright.
sir.
It'll be alright. Whatever you going through is gonna be okay. Anyways, Caleb.
I blame Carson for like the last 7 minutes of this.
This is me and Caleb's like
Literally,
normal
you
speaking
picked
pattern.
the wrong part. We just tangent.
Oh, we picked the right one.
Going back to Caleb. So what is your ultimate goal for yourself?
Yeah, that's another conversation I've been having. So I had a friend reach out to me, and again before COVID, that he was a production going to come. He's like, "Would you want to get in and AC on this thing?" And if I did that, I'd have to. I think my corporate clients want things pretty regularly. Even during COVID, they had COVID messaging, and where basically they would film something on their cell phone. And I would put graphics on it or whatever.
Right.
But I'd have to put that or find someone to cover that. Maybe bring in an employee or something like that. To help deal with those things, which is a good thing to expand your business from 1 to 2 people.
Right.
But then it was a thing, I'm pretty particular about the quality of my work and the way things done, the way people are treated and all that. So it get this question, like, is this really what I really want to do? Is this really a viable option for me? And like I said, so I would really like to do big movies and productions, movie musical or something like that. But I do like what I'm doing, even though corporate video gets a little soul crushing sometimes when it's the same thing over and over again. But sometimes you get to go meet some interesting people. You go interesting. I do travel a decent bit, around across America with these guys from, and so you have that kind of aspect of it. But I don't really get to flex my creative muscles as much as I would really like to. And that might be why I'm really been into photography kind of lately.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's because I can be more creative in it that way and get some of that juice out.
So what is your favorite things to shoot as far as photography, as far as taking pictures and stuff?
Well, I shoot the crap out of my dog.
Great pictures.
If you hit up my Instagram, like George is, I blow up George, and he's a very photogenic animal. But I did some maternity photos last year for the first time, and they turned out really well. Charleston, I got back, a buddy of mine got engaged. He wanted me there to take photos for engagement stuff. So I really like candid type of thing. Like, I guess that's for the dog, because it's really he's running around the water. Like, we're in Charleston, he's in the ocean, so I throw the frisbee out, he's running back in, but the water and because he doesn't know I'm taking a picture of him. He doesn't know what's going on. But I like people doing things and smiling in their natural habitat, because it feels. Posing always feels forced.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I like to catch you when you're not, like, we're walking around and that's really a shot of you, and I'll snag it when you're not paying attention.
I've always said that off guard photos are the best. I never want to take photos where you're looking straight into the camera
because you're really smiling and
right.
all that.
Yeah.
Off guard photos are the best. I stage my off guard photos just to make sure they're off guard.
And sometimes if we're doing something together, because I know she's gonna ask me to take a photo of her, I'll just try to get something of her doing something anyway. Right. I tend to like taking off guard photos as well, because if it's someone if your model's posing, she or he, whoever the model is, probably doing more than half of the work, because they have to make an unnatural situation look natural. Yeah. Now, with like his lifestyle shoots, most of that work is on you. You just got to make them comfortable. Mm-hmm. It's got to be as natural as humanly possible, and you just capture the moment. Mm-hmm. And that's usually a lot more fun, because you're way more focused. You're paying attention way more to what's going on, and you just got to get that perfect shot.
Well, right. And we're talking about technology now. I had my 5D Mark II for forever, and I just got the Canon R5.
Yeah.
That thing is magic. I don't like. So I did these engagement photos, and so part of them were candid, where I got the actual proposal. She didn't know it was coming. He kind of pops out from behind a tree. She thought we were just going to see this park or whatever, and so I get her reactions and all this stuff. But it will shoot 20 frames a second to these men. So I literally took 1,200 photos. In the matter of about 2 hours of the posing, so I'm having to sift through all those things, but you're going to catch those.
Right.
It makes it easier to catch, but then you've got to weed through 1,200 photos.
Oh, yeah.
Half
That's
of
a lot.
which, or more than half, 90% are the exact same thing. There are 15 on either side of it. They're the exact same. The one you just It's a lot of stuff. So again, it's more. I feel like now it's more technology than I need.
You know
what I wanted, but it's more than I need.
You know, I heard Chase Jarvis. Shout out to Chase Jarvis. He said that the best camera is the one that you have, and it's like, and you should know your camera or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I think we're always looking to the next thing, even in life.
Well, Well, that's what like my neighbor. She wanted to get into photography. She thought it'd be a. I laughed and she said, "I thought it'd be an easy thing." She got 3 kids. Yeah, I think it'd be an easzy thing to get into. And so that's why I told her, I said, you need a 24 to 70 millimeter because it gets you get your wide angle and you can do portraits at 70, and it's got everything, most popular lens on the planet. And she goes, "Well, everybody's telling me I really need this 50, like 1.2, and it's $1,200." I'm like, no. I'm like, if
why
really,
spend that much money to be bad?
Yeah, and you can, if you want it, I was like, I'll sell you my kit 50 for $150. Supplies it, and I'll buy another one for $100 off eBay. Because it's a one, and it's decent enough, especially you're learning.
Right.
And I remember she got mad and she sold it back to me, and I was taking some pictures of it, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, what'd you take these on?" I'm like, "That lens that you didn't like."
Oh man,
that you didn't want to. But you learn how to. That's the thing. When you have the bad equipment, you learn how to use it. Learn what you can.
Right.
What you can do.
What you can pull off with.
So when you get the good stuff, it all comes together. It makes it easier to use all the bad equipment. I guess.
It's funny once you kind of learn how to get the good equipment. You're probably so good at using this bad equipment that you can even afford, like,
you don't really
your skill.
Yeah.
You've made money using that bad camera,
right?
So much to where now you can afford that good camera now.
Well, limitations are good. Limitations cause you to have to compensate
and be more creative,
and it helps creativity. Yes.
Well, that's what I said about the digital thing. People are like, "I want to take too many pictures." I'm like, "It's digital. We can take as many as we want to. I'll just delete them." But then again, I said I am taking too many photos. 1,200.
You got to think about that. You got to sit there and look at all this.
That is too many. Like I have to. Like I've got other things to do with my life. I can't just go through. I can't just go through the. But yeah, the limit. And well, there was a series years ago. I don't remember, but it was Philip Bloom who did. I think it was Philip Bloom, but he did a series. No, it was some other guy, but it had Philip Bloom on it.
Oh,
where he would give them like shitty cameras and these really good cinematographers and say, "Go make art with these." So I mean, like I think Philip Bloom had it was a Barbie doll that had a camera in the eye. And it was like 1.2 megapixel, piece of crap. But he would give them all things like, one of them was a Disney camera. But he would go, "All right, go make art. Go do something cool with these things."
Yeah. And
it would show what they could do with limited bad technology. And it was always something cool because they're genuinely talented. They have a good eye for it. So it's like what Carson is that the limitations, you work with those limitations, you figure it out.
Right. You know how long I had my first camera? And I did a whole bunch of stuff with that, and it looked very good. And they were like, "Damn, what kind of camera you got?" And I told them, they were like, "Oh, for real?" It was the lenses. I rent lenses, and I would that's how I got through it.
Clean and sharp. If you got lenses and light, you got it all.
Yep. Yeah.
And you can make a lot of stuff look good with some good lighting.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what when they talk about cameras, and I say if you're doing it in full daylight, camera doesn't matter. Because as long as the camera has enough light, you're fine. It's when you get dark, that's when the processing and all that crap comes into play.
Right.
But in broad day, for most people, as long as you have the right light, you're solid. You're golden.
Yeah.
And for all those watching, can you back the ring light up just a little bit?
What?
Like when people use the ring lights now, it's like 2 inches away from their face. And it's like I'm like
I know what you're talking about now.
I can't tell who you are.
Yeah.
I was like, I just see eyeballs.
You mean for all of those listening?
You just That just threw me off. Like, what do you mean? Watch
that's the only thing that threw me off when you said, and then you said ring light. I'm like, we got a ring light in here.
Is there a camera?
Right. I'm like,
I would be just as surprised as you. So, when I'm guessing from all of y'all saying as far as with shooting, your camera is about the least important.
It's important, but it ain't the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So on the list of important
Story over everything. Story over everything.
I mean, I would like to argue with it, but I don't feel like I can. Because I feel like I will argue with it.
And go.
And Avatar. Period. Like, that is the most...
Ferngully did better.
Yeah, but it didn't make as much money.
It was still superior. Ferngully was superior.
But you got the visuals of Avatar. I mean, I'll be the first. I saw it in IMAX 3D and it blew me away. Like when that dragon thing's about to jump off the thing, I remember I leaned back in my chair, like, oh, and then nothing's happening. Like but the success of these visually stunning things,
Right.
Like even Godzilla is a perfect example. Like I enjoyed the hell out of Godzilla versus King Kong, but that's a terrible story. Like, but again, I know what I'm expecting. Like I'm expecting a giant lizard to fight a giant monkey. And that's what I wanted to see. Like, just do that.
I mean, that's just exceptions to the rule.
Right.
I mean, like
action movies definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to look good. There needs to be a lot of explosion. Like if John Woo's directing it, a boat's gonna explode on the highway. I mean, come on.
If it's Fast and Furious, a plane's gonna not a plane, but a car's gonna fly off of something.
Are there a crazier bunch of movies than the Fast and Furious movies? Like I used to think there's no, and then somebody said no, you really need to watch the new ones, and you really don't. And I did. I'm like, I love the absolute hell out of those movies. Like I hope they make 1 million of them. Like just keep doing them and get weirder and crazier. Like the one The Rock has has his cast. And he just cracks it. Yes, and then throws grenades at a helicopter and shoots them. Goes everything. Just do all that stuff. Just do the crazy.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Like I enjoy it, and there's no story in that. Like there's.
I have no idea what happened.
You know the Expendables. I think it was either the first one or the second movie because they made 3, right?
Yeah.
Like Expendables. Excuse me. The one where one of the characters like revved up the motorcycle to take down a helicopter. It took down a helicopter, and I looked at my sister and I said, "Did you just see that?" She said, "I can't unsee that." and I was like, they have guns. Why did they shoot him?
Because it's way cooler to do it that way.
It's way cooler to take it down.
No, I'm saying the
don't matter what lens you use.
It don't matter.
The helicopter was getting the people on the ground, like tearing them up. This dude was like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ride up to the rooftop and use this board right here to take down this chopper.
Anne of Green Gables would be a lot cooler if someone blew up a helicopter with a motorcycle. That's all I'm saying. And for story over substance, I'm just saying everything's a little bit cooler when you blow up a helicopter with a motorcycle.
I mean, every action movie, there's almost at least 3 scenes where you can go, logically that doesn't make sense,
but it looks cool.
Amazing.
It looks cool.
Spy movies.
I mean, none of these movies are realistic, so it doesn't matter what you do with them. Yep. I mean, you swirl somebody around and throw them across the room. You know what I'm saying?
But you do have to follow the rules that you set for your universe, though. You really do.
Yeah.
Because like that takes everybody out of the story, unless it's not a story. If it's Sharknado, nobody cares.
That happens. It's a weird thing to say. It happens a lot in these Marvel movies or the superhero movies now. Is that everybody's power level fluctuates depending on where the situation is?
Yeah.
And when you're like, well, Thor should have been able to punch that guy's head off. And I'm like, why is he not doing that right now?
He's like, I'm suffering with depression.
Yeah, like the Hulk goes, well, I'm sad Hulk, so I cannot turn into a Hulk right now. I'm like, that didn't, just be the Hulk. I don't know why is the Hulk.
Hey, bro, we ain't got time for this.
Yeah, like I need you to Hulk and punch that thing right now. But it's just you have to do those things, or else it's just too overpaid. You know, you walk through the thing, and then there was a show that I watched briefly, and I quit because of this very thing. It was Supernatural, and I liked it, but the problem was there was no limiting factor. So it was like they were supernatural. They fight demons and things like that.
Right.
And so one of them, they had the actual devil. So they beat the actual Satan, the devil. And like, well, that's we beat the ultimate evil. That's it. He goes, nope, you didn't know about Satan's brother, who is way more evil.
Oh my God,
who is way more evil than he is. And they're like, oh, so that's just what we're doing now. So his second cousin's way more evil than they are after they beat that guy. But that's the how like there's no limiting principle. Like you can't.
Meet the super devil.
Yeah, this is the ultra devil. Like you don't even want to know what it is.
That's an episode of Family Guy. Super devil.
I didn't think you'd catch that.
Oh my God!
Exactly what I'm referring to. Because I remember hearing super devil.
And they were in Texas.
There's more devil than of course he's in Texas. Hot as hell there.
They were like the super devil, and I'm like, I've never heard that before in my life.
It sticks out. It stuck out to me too.
I don't know why, but y'all started talking about the devil, and I started thinking about the Bell Witch. Because that's like right in Adams.
It's up. I've been up there,
and I'm like, man, I wonder if that's a devil. Is that a devil? I don't know.
So I never watched it. So
You never seen it?
I don't do horror.
I do have people.
I do not pay money for people to
Not
scare
even
me.
suspense.
Me-
Not
No.
even suspense movies.
Well,
Nah, I
suspense,
don't
but
need-
not horror.
This thing, suspense is like right underneath horror. That's like, to me, it's a thin line, and I'm not playing with that line.
World War Z. World War Z. Because I watched that again last week when I was in a hotel.
It's actually a good movie.
I love a good zombie movie.
I love zombie movies.
Oh, zombies. No.
No,
So no Walking Dead.
I grew up. No, I didn't watch this neither.
I
I
watched.
grew up in the crack epidemic. Okay,
Oh man.
I don't need, that's the closest to zombies I need to see.
so I have two sets of friends who beg me to go film them ghost hunting. Beg me, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. He goes, because ghosts don't exist. How do you know? Because I've never seen one. And like, you should do. He goes, well, one, if they are, I'm going to get scared. I don't want to do that. And and two goes, how are you going to ask me? He goes, hey, you want to come spend a night in an old, wet, grimy, rusty sanitarium where you have to get a tetanus shot? No, I don't want to do that. There's nothing about that that interests me.
See-
but literally two friends who beg me to go because you've got stuff. Not doing it.
You got the lighting equipment and everything.
Do the whole thing. No, not doing it.
Part of me would have wanted to do it just because I'd want them to waste. I would love to record them wasting their time looking for something that's not there. But
But that's one of them they have a recording where they swear is someone saying, I'm here. And I'm like, I don't. And I work with her a lot, and so I always give her a hard time. There was a shoot we were on, we were having dinner, and it was me, her, and a guy I brought work with us, and she was like, I feel like there was a ghost here. So we started asking people, and so she's like the pro ghost, and I'm the anti ghost, and Jared was the guy in the middle. And every time she was saying, so I feel like that makes sense. He goes, Jared, there's no way that she can know that. He goes, well, I guess that makes sense too. But that's
he's just sitting there eating.
yeah, he's just trying to like, can we just wrap this thing up so we can get the hell out of here?
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying.
You
I'm
know-
just trying to eat my pizza rolls.
You know, I used to watch a lot of horror movies. Like I don't really count like Freddy and Jason or whatever. I thought that
Those
was
aren't horror
No.
movies.
I thought it ended up being more
Those
dark
are horribly
comedies.
funny.
After the second movie, it turns into dark comedy. But like the Paranormal Activity movies were the ones that did it for me. Where I just like I don't do them anymore. Like every now and again, I might watch like a something. It'd be like 8 months in between or something like that. But I was like, yo, that could happen. This is a documentary.
I could actually get possessed.
I was like, this is a documentary. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I don't do
I was
those
like,
movies either.
I'm not gonna watch this anymore.
Well, you heard was it 2 weeks ago? The original Amityville horror guy was died.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it was the original. The Amityville horror, the one it was based on, the guy who killed his family, whatever,
Right.
died in prison.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. At
I
all.
guess that prison's now haunted.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago, and I sent to a buddy of mine who he loves all that stuff, and that's it. I think he said the same thing. Goes, well, the Yankees hunting goes, maybe we should go up. He goes, no, I'm not doing it.
No.
Just
But
not
you've got
doing
all
it.
the stuff.
I've got all, but you've got all the stuff. Well, I give it to you. I give it to you. Just go. just leave me alone and just go.
Yeah, the paranormal, all that. Like I watch like suspense movies. Like I watch Scream. I watch those movies. But the ghost and the
Scream doesn't come off as scary for some reason to me.
it's a
Because you're not
scary.
12 anymore.
It's a scary movie.
That's a good point.
It's a scary movie.
Because I watched it.
Certain
It was
stuff.
the horror movie in my high school. I remember going over to her name was Amber Wolf. We all went to her house. We all watched Scream, and you put her liver in the mailbox. You put her liver in the mailbox, and that was my high school horror movie. The one that we all remember. And I bought them on Blu-ray that day, and I watched them like, this isn't scary. This isn't.
It was like, and I get that now. It was like the first one, and when the first one came out, and it's scary, and I watched them, and I was like, this ain't scary. It's just like Halloween.
Yeah.
Every Halloween, I watch all the Halloweens, and I enjoy myself.
So for me, the film was Chucky. When I was a kid,
Oh, Child's Play. Oh, that
they used to
first one.
scare the hell out of me. This so bad. Like my grandmother got a Chucky doll.
What would you
It
do?
was like she just like playing with me. That's what it been. Hey, yeah, it's time for you going to bed. You gotta go to school in the morning.
I'm gonna
I
put
wasn't
this in
going
here.
nowhere.
I ain't getting out of bed.
I was traumatized. But then I'm like 17, like, it's a doll. Really? Y'all getting beat up by a doll?
Yeah, but it
the
probably
thing,
got
kick it in
super
the
strength. It concentrated all the strength in that.
Nah,
little
but see,
body.
here's the thing. When you're old, you realize they're acting out the hell out of this super strength.
Yeah.
Like,
if you watch the first one, yeah.
The first is the worst.
That's just like
it's like it's the best worst example of it. It's like y'all doing too much.
That's just like Leprechaun.
Leprechaun
you know
in the
what I'm
Hood.
saying? Not that one.
They
I'm
did
talking about the
Leprechaun in
first
Space, I think.
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun in Space.
I'm talking about the first one. And when I was younger, like my cousins down the street, they love horror films, and they would have me try to make me watch it. And one of the things was Leprechaun, and I watched it, and I was scared out of my shit. Literally, went home. My mom didn't know what was wrong with me. I tried to go to sleep. It was over with. And then I watched it when I was older because I think Leprechaun in the Hood was on BET. And I'm like, you can, like, half of this man's makeup is like falling off of him.
Cheesy.
Jennifer Aniston was in that movie. Wasn't she?
She was in the first one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
She was in the first one.
Oh wait, she was.
Yeah, she was in the first one.
Yeah, I be forgetting that.
I totally forgot.
You're talking about, and I'm running through it in my mind. I'm like, and she plays. I'm like, was she really in that movie? Or I just make that up. in my
Yeah,
head?
she was. She was.
We used to watch a lot of B movies, and when I used to go stay with my grandma in South Carolina,
Right.
like man, my aunt loved B movies. I mean, so we watched all of them: Attack, Kill Tomatoes, all the trauma stuff, Toxic Avenger, Leprechaun in Space. I remember the one
Leprechaun
scene.
in Space.
I remember the one scene, whatever they had this shrink ray where they like reversed it, and it made them big.
Man, gigantic.
And the first thing he does, he pulls his draw,
to see
like,
his butt,
and
see his junk.
he looks down at himself. He's like, "Ooh, that's pretty big." And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I remember my aunt. I never heard her laugh like that. She was giggling like a schoolgirl. She thought that was the funniest thing in the world. I'm just like, that's stupid.
When if you really get, there's only so many things you can do with it. So why not go? They put Jason X. I think that was in space.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just
It's like everything was in space. Alien, Alien wasn't going to a planet anymore. Actually, Alien was always in space. But
Right.
I mean, the Predator, they were on a ship in space, and yeah.
Yeah, I look back at that Alien movie. I'm like, damn, that is
Yeah, I didn't watch that
Wait,
neither.
which one?
the first one.
Oh, that was pretty weird, and nothing will top Stephen King's It, the first one.
oh, it's amazing.
I'm still afraid of it.
I was like,
I
I
will
don't-
never
I don't-
watch
I
that. It's
I
over
didn't
with.
knew about the first It until they started production on the second one.
The problem with it for me now is Tim Curry. Like when I realized that that Pennywise is Tim Curry, the act I'm not scared of him anymore. Like I enjoyed Tim Curry as an actor too much from Clue to Home Alone. He was he did one of those Disney movies where he was like Blackbeard or something. Like,
Wasn't he in Transylvania?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I always loved him, and so just when you see Pennywise, I think it's not scary anymore. Just not.
The new I guess mask of Pennywise looks scarier to me than but that little dance that he does,
Yeah,
that's creepy.
That is creepy.
That is
really creepy. I remember like for the longest time, like 2 years, I would not walk by the storm drains. I would go to the center of the street and then come back to the sidewalk and then walk like in these big V patterns, and all the parents in the neighborhood, because this is when I lived in Alabama. They probably was like, "Oh, he's on the spectrum.
Alabama, okay.
He's on
Horston.
he's
Special.
special. He's special. Like, that's why he's walking zigzags in the road.
Like, why are you doing that? Look, I don't want to get captured by it.
Just sucked into the storm
Tim
drain.
Curry.
No, what does it for me is I mean the Candyman. I don't know what it is about him,
That was weird.
but till this day, like in the guy that plays Candyman was on an episode of Charm. For those who don't know, Charm is one of my favorite shows, and when I saw him on the screen, it was just I cringed. I was like, oh my god.
It made you that nervous.
Yeah, hell yeah, it made me that nervous. I was like, oh my god.
Hey, what you doing here?
I gotta watch the episode, but I'm like, damn, that's Candyman.
Turn
Damn,
the
that's
light on.
Candyman.
all you have to do is say his name 3 times in the mirror by yourself. When you're home by
here's the thing.
yourself.
I never saw Candyman, but I was never going to say anything 3 times in the mirror.
And I'm like,
I was like, just the trailer enough.
I haven't even
Was
watched the one that came out.
yeah,
That's
like
what they
I haven't watched that either. I was like,
I'm not gonna watch it.
Cinematically, it looked appealing, but I'm like, it didn't intrigue me enough to even want to go.
Nah,
there.
it scared me. I wasn't gonna watch it.
I was like,
I just don't do like even a lot of my friend filmmakers, they do like to make horror movies. I'm like, It's just not my bag. Like, I don't feel comfortable. I don't enjoy it. Like I worked on it, and it's not fun for me. The last one I saw was the M. Night's The Visit.
Yeah.
Making everyone go see your grandparents again. Like it's the worst thing. Literally the part where they're hiding from the old lady under the house, and she's running like she's possessed, or like a spider. It's horrifying. It's the scariest. If you've never, it's a legitimately good. Like it's a good, and you kind of see the twist coming, I think. But it's a really good scary. I feel like it was M. Night getting back to like his
And didn't he do The Mist? Was that him?
I don't know if he did Mist. I know he did. He did Signs. He did Devil, which actually Devil I thought was a good movie.
Yeah, and people don't like Devil. But I thought it was. And
I thought it was executed well.
The one that everybody craps on was the The Village.
Yeah, that was actually a good movie.
It was the twist was fantastic.
It was very fantastic.
And everybody's like, "It's not a horror movie." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's still good." Like I don't know what you.
They're like with a twist. It's like they always like with a twist.
It was the twist was perfect. That's why I loved it so much, because of the twist. Like you would have never saw that coming ever.
There's no way for you to know. There's no way for you to know.
And it was like, oh my gosh.
We met on Hair of the Dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a lot of in all horror stuff, and I'm just, it's not me, Holmes. It's not mine.
It shows how much I don't watch horror films. I have no idea what anything that y'all talking about right now.
Good, and you probably sleep better not for it.
Way better.
That was
anything has a one word twist, the this, the that. No.
Those are some long nights. Like when we met on that film set, because I remember we got done at 2 a.m. and had to be at work at 7, so I'm like, I'll just stay up, and then my whole week was shot. Like I spent like the following Saturday like just sleeping the whole day, because like I stayed up that day, and then my sleep schedule was all jacked up, and it was still a great experience though. I remember driving back and being like, I feel crazy.
It looked we rode out to that cave, and that's one of the me and Carter. I think it's the first day we met.
Yeah. And I just rode in the car with him.
Yeah, and he's like, you load up with Caleb. Is him and you and the other guy?
I can't remember who else.
I want to say Chris. That may not be his name.
I can't remember who was in the back.
But we're right, and I'm telling some anecdote as I do, and I told Carter, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. You're too young. And he goes, how old do you think I am? I was like, I don't know, like 26, 27. And he's like, however long ago, he was a year older than I am. Was a year older than I am. And the best one thing is, I feel like I'm the oldest person everywhere I go. I'm hit that, I'm 35 now, but I feel like I'm just the oldest person on the planet.
Well, you're not the oldest person in this room.
Oh, good. Well, that makes me feel so I can make references that you might actually understand.
Yeah,
but he won't acknowledge it. Though,
I ain't acknowledging
he doesn't.
It depends on how far back we talking.
Right, he ain't gonna acknowledge it.
This man ain't gonna talk about the first Space Jam.
The what?
Which will always be the better Space Jam.
What is that? An old pimp movie?
Oh, good. Oh, here we go.
Oh my God! So let's get back to Caleb so we can end this episode, because we have been in here for like an hour and a half. So I don't know what else to ask you.
Well, we asked about major goals. Like I know. I plan on re-engaging like with some of the stuff that we had, like online. I just hadn't got all my stuff together.
Everybody's doing stuff.
So, like, if you had an ideal project, like right now, outside of the musical, because we asked that question, what would you kind of try to do, like, for an ideal project? Anything, film, TV, commercial, anything.
I feel like the thing that I'm most suited for that would be documentary. That's what I've done the most of. That's what a lot of my corporate stuff tends to be like. A lot of on the fly, following somebody around work, catching things as it kind of happens, and that's gets a little more what I'm mostly known for. And so a good solid docu-series.
So what would it be?
Well, I don't know.
Well, give us your list.
Well, so it's a lot of things. Like, I like to do things about things I don't know.
Yeah.
So I had a friend of mine reach out, and she has Lyme disease, and so a lot of doctors don't recognize Lyme for whatever reason, and they kind of crap on other, and I don't know anything about it, and so that's why I'm interested in it, because I don't know anything about it.
Right.
And so I feel like that helps me as a documentarian, because I have no preconceived notions walking into this thing, because most documentaries, I would say almost 99%, 90% have a skew one way, because there's a story that you're trying to find or the thing that you're trying to tell. Me, I want the story to come to me. So it would really be something like that where I don't know, where it is interesting, where the idea, but I don't know about it, where I can learn as we go. So I can ask appropriate questions when we're doing interviews, or I can, add things like, well, things that whoever's in it may not necessarily think about it because they're surrounded as an outside observer. Yeah. Like, what about this thing over here? Like, oh, it's funny you ask about that. But so again, that's just thought of, and again, of course, being on the spot, you can't think of anything to say.
But you'll think about it later on.
Yeah, but anything that I like to do things I don't know about, and that's because then you can, like the Tennessee whiskey. I didn't know anything about whiskey. I don't really drink whiskey. I'm still not necessarily a big drinker, but I learned to, over the whole thing, you drink a lot and you learn to appreciate. You learn what goes into mash bills. You learn what tasters or reviewers do to actually appreciate the flavors of it. And so that's you learn to do it. So now I can actually drink a whiskey and feel like I know a little bit something about it, and know things I like. Like, I don't like old scotches because they taste like barrels. Taste like wood. And I like Tennessee whiskeys because they're a little milder, a little more, a little more filtered. So you learn all that. So anything like that,
right?
Again, a topic that I just don't know.
That's what's up.
Like, actually, I find those like type of documentary approaches. I think that's like the most like that's the greatest engagement that I would get, because like you don't already see a skew and they're trying to point. Excuse me. They're trying to point.
You don't have your own view of it.
Yeah. So like, but they're inquisitive like a child would be, and it's like, let's see where this goes.
So you think that approach is more authentic as far as making a documentary?
Yeah, I like it. I like those documentaries like that.
I mean, because everybody, and there's the problem in that everybody says you want to have a call to action, but in those, I feel like you find your call to action, like you find what the truth is and whatever you're trying to tell. Yeah. And then and then that's the one you go with. You present the information. I mean, because it is. I mean, 90% have a skew one way for whatever the topic is. Whether it's making a murderer, they want to make you think that Avery is going to, or whether it's Food Inc., they make you want to think that the industrial food complex is bad. Like, they're trying to make you think those things rather than getting into it and realizing, oh, well, this is an interesting. So,
do you think you have to have a call to action for a documentary?
Well, I mean, if you have a cause that you want to get people involved in, like if it's not something, like if it was a
sriracha,
or like something that's already happened. So like I don't know why OJ is the first thing that popped in my head, because there's a million of them. But like,
and they're good.
But yeah, but the thing is, it's already happened. It's done. He's went to prison. It's over with. And so his story is, I mean, he's alive, but essentially for the trial is finished. But if it's an ongoing issue, right? That's when you have a call to action. You don't have a call to action against OJ, like put OJ back in jail. Like, that's not a thing you do. But if you're
have you seen his Twitter?
You put him in Twitter jail at least.
I do know some people when he when he
had a misunderstanding.
When he had a misunderstanding with that guy trying to get his memorabilia back. Like, I know some people who dealt with that situation, and you feel bad for it. Like, come on, Juice. Like, you were.
Come on, Juice.
you were really like.
You ain't even OJ no more.
Yeah.
No, but I'm like, still though. Like, I don't feel bad for a man that asks another man that, like, hey, I got to take care of something. Make sure you bring your gun.
Make sure.
I'm like,
okay,
I'm not going with you.
In his defense, this happened in Florida, right?
No, it was in Vegas.
Yeah, it's Vegas.
Never mind. Go ahead. You were saying.
I was like, what would have happened if it was in Florida?
I was in Florida. That sounds pretty on par.
Oh, it's Florida man.
Yeah, it's Florida.
It's Florida.
Yeah, that sounds like a Florida man story. Wouldn't have thought anything of it. But Vegas, OJ's completely.
I drove by that hotel last time I was out there.
What the hotel?
It was like Sunset Station. There's like a Hooters right there. Like, I've ate at that Hooters. I've actually been inside that hotel, and I was like, oh, I know that one.
I know that
when I saw the story, I was like, oh, I know that hotel. We ate there.
Did you
she's-
did you feel some kind of presence? Did you feel accomplished? Did you feel?
No, I was like,
Was there-
I don't
You
know.
feel like
I don't
you
know
was
why. I said, I
walking
know,
in history?
I know exactly where that is.
Was there a cold breeze across the back?
We stayed about 5 miles away from there. There's a Walmart sells liquor.
What?
Yeah, it blew my mind. We went to Walmart, bought some chips, groceries, whatever, because they had a little kitchenette. We were there for 2 weeks, and then we go in the back around the corner, and there's like Crown Royal. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm home.
On that note,
Yeah.
Caleb, we want to thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for having. This is my first ever podcast, so I hope I didn't.
You did
Oh, no.
very excellent.
Yeah,
you
did
did
great.
very well.
Great guest.
So, like to end this, the final question. We're going to pretend like you did your musical and it did well. And you got an Oscar for directing your musical. What is your Oscar speech?
I mean, I have to thank God for the opportunities. He's put the right people in my life, the people that I needed to get where I was going. Been very blessed throughout, despite setbacks, and my wife, who, if not for her encouraging me after construction, I would still be in construction. She told me this is what I always want to do, go do it, and I did it. And my mom for always letting me know that I was her baby boy.
And that's going to be a great way to end it. I'm Kevin Mumphrey with Victoria V.A. Jones, Karsten Hype Ferguson.
Yeah.
And this is F It. We'll fix it in post. And that is a wrap.